watched the tape of Sunday's game. What were your key takeaways?
It was really what you saw out there. It was not great execution at all three levels. You really can't point at one specific player, one specific unit. Obviously, just not good enough all the way around, and whether it's coaching, whether it's playing, and just got to get better.
With JJ being sidelined for an extended period of time, what could that potentially mean for somebody like him?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, when that happens, guys got to step up. So he'll definitely take on an elevated role, and as well as some other guys too.
And along those lines, just what have you seen from him to this point?
He's really Cam, a really mature rookie. Has been since the day he got here. Loves football. Obviously, he's a guy that we knew when the pads come on, he kind of comes to life. Really good ball skills, really good communication. So really excited about him.
Coach McVay talked about Quinn Lake having a lot of tackles, but that wasn't necessarily an indication of how that the team should be making plays earlier on. What have you seen from that, and what has been your evaluation of Quinn Lake so far?
Quinn Lake's been really, really good. Really good communication. Just like you said, yeah, we'd probably like to have him have less tackles where the ball doesn't get spit out to him as much. So that's for sure. It's the number one thing in run defense. Obviously, it starts at the first and second levels. When DBs are making tackles at the third level, that's not usually a good thing. But when the ball has gotten to him, he's played really physical and tackled really well.
Kobe was talking yesterday about pass rushers having to earn pass rush downs through their work on
There's no doubt, yeah.
So has that been a point of emphasis this week at practice?
Yeah, I mean, we know what the Niners are about, and we know they're going to try to run the ball, and that's kind of what they've been really since Kyle's been there. And obviously we haven't done the greatest job the last two games, and so yeah, obviously it's an emphasis is playing good run defense.
When you do have the same issues coming up in multiple weeks, how do you go about? What's your process of going about fixing that? You guys can't fully tackle in practice or anything like that. So what is your process, not just with the players, but with your coaches as well?
Yeah, sure. As coaches, you try to identify issues as far as is there anything that we can do schematically to put them in a little better positions, and then with the players, is there anything that we have that's slowing them down that maybe a reason they're not playing with the best technique that they should be playing, and from a physical standpoint, yeah. So you kind of look at it everything, and then you also look at every play as its own entity. What's happening and how our team's attacking us. We're still evaluating. We got a lot of corners that we really like that are here, and we're fortunate with, obviously with T. White and Kobe, Josh Wallace. You got Cam Lampkin, Akillo. So we got a lot of guys we feel really good about, and we'll evaluate them and see how this week goes.
There were a couple instances where it looked like Jared Verse sort of over-pursued and allowed Arizona to pop a run. How do you get him to find that balance between respecting the run and not being overly aggressive?
Yeah, sure.
Respect the playing.
No, Verse is he's a great player. He's an aggressive player, and you never want to take that away. But he also knows that doing stuff within the scheme of the defense and understanding when it's your play to make and when it's not. Just keep educating him as a young player.
Obvious challenge without Cooper, without Puka. What are the conversations like? Some of those veteran guys have been in the system a couple years at this point, but maybe with some of the younger players such as Jordan Whittington, getting them up to speed.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for some of those guys, right? So I know Coop and Puka, anytime you have injuries, you feel bad for the person, but you don't feel bad for yourself or your unit or your team. It's just time to go. And so having those guys as, again, just player coaches, if you will, particularly Cooper because he's been in the system, is huge. And, it's every day just trying to build to get to Sunday, and these guys are putting in the work.
How do you measure in practice, as you're trying to figure out who's ready for a bigger role? How do you kind of measure who's ready as you're going through the week with that receiver room?
Yeah, first of all, a lot of those guys, if TJ and D-Rob and Tutu, they've played a lot of football. So, that it's not too big for them on Sundays. And you just kind of felt that way about Jay Witt. Just through, accumulation of what he was doing from the spring through August, what he did in the preseason, played in some pretty big games in Texas. I get it's not Sundays, but he played in some big games. So, again, they'll be ready for that opportunity. And, again, it's just building to get to that point. It is down. I don't even know what's going on around the league right now. We got our hands full with this team right now, but it's ebbs and flows of this league, right? Sometimes offenses are ahead of curves, sometimes defense. You never really know. I think it's such a week-to-week league. but really, Sarah, I don't even know what the scores are of other games. Kind of know what the Green Bay score is every once in a while, but we're so focused on us and in this unit that we have to go up against on Sunday.
You have your own background with the 49ers, but does having Jimmy in the room in a week like this have any added benefit in terms of preparation or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I probably more so between Jimmy and Matthew, and maybe even just in the locker room in general. Anytime you got a little more information when you've been in the locker room and had the success that Jimmy has had in that locker room, I'm sure there's a few things that I'm not getting told or anything like that, but just having Jimmy back right now has been great, and it's a benefit.
Whether you've been in the building working against some of the defensive staff they've had in San Francisco or watching it from afar, playing against it.
Sure.
Everyone who comes in seems to put, even though everything runs through sort of the same
Sure.
philosophy, everyone who changes over there seems to put their own identity into
Absolutely.
on it. I know it's a small sample size, but what are you seeing early on from this changeover?
Yeah, I think, like you said, the identity is for the most part the same, and their identity is they play really, really hard. They're extremely well coached. Whoever's been the coordinator there, they're always in the right spot. But this thing runs through Fred, and not to mention they got some pretty other good guys around them, right? With Bosa and Ward out there at the right, and Lenore and all that. So just so much respect for their players first and foremost. But on top of it, how well they're coached, how disciplined they are, how hard they work. And that starts with Kyle and what their standard is there.
You guys have been decimated along the offensive line with injuries. This week you get AJ back. How important is AJ to establishing and building continuity and cohesion along the offensive line?
That's the key word, is the continuity, right? And just anyone we get back right now we'll take, obviously. So it's good. And again, I always put it back to I'm just happy for the player that he gets to be out there doing what he loves to do, So it's good to get him back. And again, he's working some combinations with a guy that he hasn't worked a lot of combinations with. So they got good work in yesterday. Expect great work in today, tomorrow. What we do above the head, above the neck on Saturday, and they'll be ready to go on Sunday. But happy to get Alaric back for sure.
Are you seeing Lemmer come out of his shell a little bit?
Yeah, the centers are interesting dudes. They always are. Usually the good ones that I've been around. So he's getting more and more comfortable. I was joking with Wendy the other day. You can tell that Wendy and him have a good center-to-center relationship, if you will, and they have their own conversations that they don't let any of us hear, so that must just be center code. So, but no, he's getting more and more comfortable, and again, the more he plays like any other position, the better. But he's definitely holding his own out there.
What do you think is kind of the key to getting Kyron going consistently?
Yeah, we just got to stay on the field more. I mean, I think we had 10 plays, within the first 20 or so minutes of that last game, and next thing you know, we were kind of in a hole. And then the first game, it didn't go necessarily in the flow that we wanted, for a lot of particular reasons. So we just got to get back to playing, the style that we want in the game that we want, and every game's going to be a little bit different without getting too far into the game we want to play this week for obvious reasons. So he'll get going. He's doing all the right things. He's such a one good player, but he's a tough player. He's a mentally tough player. And again, for any player, but particularly in the run game, it takes all 11. Period. And again, if the more we're out there, the more we'll get in the rhythm.
A couple more guys. When you look at the tandem of Lenore and Ward and the challenges that they present in pass coverage, what stands out to you about their game?
Yeah, they're they're extremely talented, and they're you can tell their mindset is that they're going to be aggressive, right? And you can tell they know they're good football players, and rightfully so. They've had some really productive work in this league, both obviously Ward in other places, but they're going to be a good challenge. Our guys know that. I've had so much respect for them, and I've seen Lenore grow, since he's gotten there, from afar. I was never with him, but two talented players that play within that system really well.
Mike, obviously, for as long as Sean has been here, this has been an 11 personnel offense, and the receivers can do so many things. But what is the injury to not just Davis Allen, but also having potential extra linemen down due to change some of the conversations about how you guys might be able to adjust to just settle everything down with heavier personnel?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and without getting in too far into it for obvious reasons. But every week there's conversations. Every week there's challenges. Every week there's obstacles. And so we've had our fair share, and it is what it is. So we've had good conversations, and we're all on the same page about how we want to approach this thing. I know our players are in that same mold, and they're going to be ready to play. They're going to be ready to battle.